A'ja Wilson and Caitlin Clark, two absolute legends in women's basketball, are both having their jerseys retired on the same day, February 2nd, 2025. Sounds epic, right? But hold up. The ticket prices and fan reactions are wild. On one side, you've got WNBA MVP A'ja Wilson getting her jersey retired for just $16 a ticket. Yeah, less than a large pizza. Meanwhile, Caitlin Clark's fans are coughing up a jaw-dropping $300 for standing room only. Yep, $300 just to stand there. And the difference doesn't stop there. Clark's ceremony is a full-on Hollywood-style event with national TV coverage, while Wilson's, crickets, and fans, oh, they're furious. Twitter's basically on fire with debates and hot takes. So what's really going on here? Is it just hype, or are we seeing a major shift in women's basketball? Stick around because we're breaking down all the drama, the price gap, and why A'ja's fans are calling foul. But before we dive into all the exciting details, take a moment to support the channel by hitting the like button and subscribing. Joining our community means you'll stay updated on the latest WNBA news, expert insights, and deep dives into big moves like this one. Don't miss a beat as we cover every angle of this major shakeup. So go ahead, show some love, and let's get started.
Two iconic names, one historic date. On February 2nd, 2025, women's basketball will celebrate A'ja Wilson and Caitlin Clark in ways that cement their legacies forever. As fans debate whose impact is greater, ticket sales tell a story of their own, with Clark's jersey retirement commanding prices.
Picture this, two absolute legends of the game, A'ja Wilson and Caitlin Clark, both getting their jerseys retired on the exact same day. Sounds like a double celebration, right? But here's where it gets wild. While Clark's event is practically a sold-out rock concert with fans fighting over seats, Wilson's big day still has plenty of elbow room. Seriously, what's the deal here?
Well, now the date for that jersey retirement is official. On February 2nd against USC, Clark's number 22 will be put in the rafters for good.
Let's dive into the drama. The ticket price gap between these two events is so massive, you could probably book a round-trip flight from South Carolina to Iowa and still have cash left over. Wilson's tickets? A jaw-droppingly cheap $16. That's less than what you'd pay for a large pizza. Meanwhile, Clark's cheapest tickets? A staggering $300. And those aren't even for the good seats. We're talking standing room only, way up in the nosebleeds. It's like comparing a gourmet steak dinner to a dollar menu burger, both tasty, but clearly not in the same league price-wise. Imagine shelling out $300 just for a distant view of the court, compared to scoring a prime spot for $16 to see Wilson's historic moment up close.
Right, A'ja Wilson, the cornerstone of South Carolina's rise to prominence, will see her number 22 jersey retired at Colonial Life Arena when the Gamecocks face Auburn. A lot of people are pissed that this is the second day.
Now, you might be wondering, if Wilson is such a big deal, why aren't her tickets selling like hotcakes? We're talking about a two-time WNBA MVP here, someone with the kind of talent most athletes only dream of. Yet the buzz around her event? Crickets. For $16, you might expect a hot dog and a soda at a game, not a front-row seat to witness basketball history. And yet there are still tickets left. Makes you scratch your head, huh? Maybe it's a reflection of the marketing behind the event, or simply how fan bases have been cultivated differently. Meanwhile, over in Iowa, the energy is completely different. Clark's jersey retirement has turned into the must-see event of the year. The demand is so crazy that Iowa had to open up new seating sections just to accommodate the overflow of fans. We're talking sold out, standing room only levels of hype. People are treating this like the Super Bowl of women's basketball. It's got that rare golden ticket vibe, like when you're trying to score seats for a Taylor Swift concert or the opening night of a Marvel movie. Clark has captured a cultural moment that feels bigger than sports itself.
However, in Iowa City, the retirement of Caitlin Clark's number 22 jersey at Carver Hawkeye Arena during Iowa's game against USC is shaping up to be a much bigger spectacle.
But here's the thing, this price gap isn't just about the money. It speaks volumes about star power and influence. Caitlin Clark isn't just a basketball player. She's become a cultural icon. She's captured the public's attention in a way that transcends sports. Meanwhile, A'ja Wilson, despite her incredible achievements, hasn't reached that same level of mainstream stardom. And guess what? Wilson's fans have noticed, and they're not happy. Some argue that Wilson deserves just as much recognition given her accomplishments in the WNBA, and contributions to the sport.
This, by the way, is driving A'ja Wilson fans nuts. They're furious that this is happening on the same day.
Now, you might be wondering, if Wilson is such a big deal, why aren't her tickets selling like hotcakes? We're talking about a two-time WNBA MVP here, someone with the kind of talent most athletes only dream of. Yet the buzz around her event? Crickets. For $16, you might expect a hot dog and a soda at a game, not a front row seat to witness basketball history. And yet, there are still tickets left. Makes you scratch your head, huh? Maybe it's a reflection of the marketing behind the event, or simply how fan bases have been cultivated differently.
Asked to wear number 22, and you'll become the third Hawkeye women's basketball player in history to have her number retired.
As the Hawks wrapped up their second straight national runner-up season.
Meanwhile, over in Iowa, the energy is completely different. Clark's jersey retirement has turned into the must-see event of the year. The demand is so crazy that Iowa had to open up new seating sections just to accommodate the overflow of fans. We're talking sold out, standing room only levels of hype. People are treating this like the Super Bowl of women's basketball. It's got that rare golden ticket vibe, like when you're trying to score seats for a Taylor Swift concert or the opening night of a Marvel movie. Clark has captured a cultural moment that feels bigger than sports itself.
Iowa taking on USC and Juju Watkins, nationally televised game, I believe. February 2nd, 2-2, so it's 22. Everything about it lines up.
But here's the thing, this price gap isn't just about the money. It speaks volumes about star power and influence. Caitlin Clark isn't just a basketball player. She's become a cultural icon. She's captured the public's attention in a way that transcends sports. Meanwhile, A'ja Wilson, despite her incredible achievements, hasn't reached that same level of mainstream stardom. And guess what? Wilson's fans have noticed, and they're not happy. Some argue that Wilson deserves just as much recognition given her accomplishments in the WNBA and contributions to the sport.
One of the sentiments that was expressed was, oh, it's the same day as A'ja Wilson's, how could you do? First of all, I remember them announcing A'ja Wilson was getting her jersey retired, but I didn't remember the date or anything.
This whole situation gets even juicier when you consider the timing. Clark's ceremony, meticulously planned way back in April 2024, strategically matching her jersey number 22. South Carolina? They announced Wilson's event months later on the exact same day. Coincidence? Maybe. But social media sure doesn't think so. Fans have speculated whether this was a deliberate scheduling conflict or just poor planning. The optics certainly aren't great, and it feels like a missed opportunity to celebrate both athletes without competition. The internet has erupted over this clash. One particularly bold fan tweeted, "Why would y'all retire her jersey the same day as A'ja? Are y'all stupid?" Yikes. It's like watching a rivalry brew from thin air. And honestly, it's hard to blame Wilson's supporters for being frustrated. Some feel like her legacy is being sidelined in favor of flashier media narratives. Here's the plot twist. Wilson and Clark don't even have personal beef. They're both incredibly talented athletes with their own legacies. But this awkward scheduling blunder has made it feel like a showdown for attention. For Wilson, it must feel like throwing yourself a birthday party only to realize your neighbor is throwing a carnival on the same day. She's finally getting her flowers, but it feels like someone else's spotlight is stealing the show. And it's not her fault, nor Clark's. This is about the institutions handling their moments. Clark's event, meanwhile, has been crafted to perfection. Iowa didn't just pick any random date, they planned it for a primetime weekend game against USC, starring another rising star, Juju Watkins. Oh, and did I mention it's being broadcast nationally on Fox Sports? That's right, the entire country can tune in and watch. Wilson's event, on the other hand, no national broadcast plans in sight. It's like comparing a Hollywood blockbuster to a straight-to-streaming release. One event has the full spectacle treatment, while the other feels like a smaller, more intimate celebration.
Something I'm very thankful for, and obviously I've had some amazing teammates over the course of my 4 years here. And there's been a lot of really good 22s to come before me and play for this program, whether it's Kathleen Doyle or Sam Logic.
But this isn't just about two jersey retirements. This whole scenario reflects a major shift in women's basketball. Remember when Clark's national championship game drew a whopping 18.7 million viewers? Compare that to the 850,000 viewers for Wilson's WNBA All-Star game, the year before Clark entered the league. That's not just a gap, it's a chasm. The audience Clark has drawn represents a new era for the sport, where marketing and fan engagement play a bigger role than ever before.
First of all, there's nothing wrong with two schools retiring respective jerseys on the same day. You'll probably get more attention as the second guy's jersey retirement of that day.
Clark has become more than a player. She's a phenomenon. She's breaking records, pulling crowds, and putting women's basketball in the spotlight like never before. Meanwhile, Wilson, despite her undeniable talent, hasn't reached that same viral fame. Think of it like the difference between a viral TikTok sensation and a low-key indie artist with a loyal fan base. Both are amazing, but one is dominating headlines. The question then becomes, how can the league better celebrate all its stars, not just the most marketable ones? And the fans? Oh, they're making sure their voices are heard. Social media has been a battleground since the double-booked jersey retirements were announced. Clark's announcement? Over 300,000 impressions in just a couple of hours. Wilson's? Not quite the same digital explosion. Some fans even went as far as saying, "Tell Wilson to move her date. The face of women's basketball deserves her own spotlight."
And then there was, Iowa is rushing this, or everything is rushed with Caitlin Clark. No, she just did things faster and garnered more attention.
But here's the thing, this isn't just online noise. It's a sign of how the game is evolving. Women's basketball isn't just about trophies anymore. It's about who can capture hearts, headlines, and hashtags. And right now, Clark seems to be leading that charge, while Wilson's fans fight for her legacy to be equally celebrated.
Already, there's so long before Caitlin Clark plays another basketball game, yet she can still dominate some of this discussion and still is on people's minds.
So where does this all lead? Is Clark on her way to being the definitive face of women's basketball? Will Wilson eventually get the recognition she deserves? Or are we witnessing the start of a new era where fan engagement and star power matter as much as stats and skills? Only time will tell, but the conversation about fairness and representation is louder than ever. One thing is clear, women's basketball is growing and fast. The fans are louder, the stars are shining brighter, and the sport is reaching new heights. The Clark-Wilson drama? Just a chapter in this evolving story. Women's hoops are more exciting than ever, and we're all lucky enough to be watching history unfold right before our eyes. Women's basketball's growth is undeniable, and it's about time the sport gets the recognition it deserves. These stories and rivalries aren't just about the players, but about how the fans engage with the sport. As the spotlight grows, expect even more players to step up, drawing more attention and elevating the game further. Clark and Wilson are just two shining examples of what this sport has become, and their legacies will inspire the next generation of athletes to chase greatness on and off the court. The future of women's basketball looks brighter than ever. More viewers, bigger events, and stories that spark debates for weeks. The Clark-Wilson is a perfect example of this new era of fan engagement, and it's only the beginning. Buckle up because the next chapter of women's basketball is going to be legendary. That's a wrap, folks. The whole Aja Wilson and Caitlin Clark jersey retirements show how much women's basketball is growing and changing. Both these amazing athletes are making history, and they both deserve big cheers for what they've done for the game. Clark's event is a massive sellout, while Wilson's has cheap tickets left. It's got people talking about respect, hype, and how players are celebrated. But no matter the ticket prices, both events are huge wins for women's basketball. What do you think? Should both players have gotten their own special days? Share your thoughts in the comments below. If you like this video, hit the like button and subscribe for more updates on women's basketball. The game is getting bigger and better, and you won't want to miss out. See you next time.